From the roar of the crowd to the roar of the engine, this is Pit Pass.
Here's your host, Ron Fox.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Pit Pass right here on WHVL.
This weekend proved to be another rainy one, and a majority of races were canceled. Unfortunately, we have some sad news to pass along.
Brandon Denochek, a 17-year-old man from Mooresdale who raced mostly in the go-karts, lost a 4-year battle with cancer this past Monday. We were at Dog Hollow Speedway last year when Brandon competed in the 410 sprint car race. Here he is in the black and green number 25. Our condolences go to Brandon's family and friends.
On a lighter note, Justin Forsyth lived up to his promise when at Sportsman Speedway he placed his grandmother, 88-year-old Esther Russell, on his car in Victory Lane after his first win.
Here's what's coming up in this week's Pit Pass. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars paid a visit to the Keystone State. We will have highlights from the annual Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup from Lernerville Speedway. This device can revolutionize emergency responders' speed to evacuate drivers. You've heard of young guns in racing. Can you guess the age of the driver in this race car? That and more in the next half hour.
On Tuesday, we went to Lernerville Speedway for the Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup event featuring the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars.
It's the only stop on the tour which features twin A mains.
Well, unless the same driver wins both A mains, how is the Silver Cup champion determined?
The winner who has the best finish in the A main that he did not win is crowned the champion.
Well, with 40 cars on hand, there were 4 heats and a C main. Sometimes the best racing of the night is trying to get into the big show. Here are some highlights of the B main.
Danny Lasowski led the field to the green for the 12-lap event. Going into turn 1, Darren Pittman runs the cushion to vault past Lasowski and into the lead. As they go down the backstretch, Craig Kinzer shoots by Lasowski and into second. Early on, the battle for the 4th and final transfer spot was between the 2L of Ed Lynch Jr. and number 94 Rob Cheney. One of the PA Posse contingent, Fred Raymer, retired after only a couple of laps. Competition for that last transfer spot still featured Cheney and Lynch, with the 13 of Paul McMahon in the mix. With 7 down, Pittman still had a few car lengths on Craig Kinzer, with Lasowski running third. Cheney held the 4th spot as Lynch and McMahon lost ground while racing for 5th. Up front, Kinzer was able to take the lead from Pittman, but moments later can't stop from colliding with the stop machine of Adam Wilt. On a restart with 3 to go, McMahon dives low and tucks in behind Lasowski and Pittman. McMahon then slides up out of turn 2 and takes over second place. On the last lap, Lynch charges from 5th up to 3rd, going through 3 and 4, while Jack Hodenshield shuffles Lasowski back to 5th.
Lernerville Speedway, you wanted the best. You got them 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaw.
Now on to the first of 2 30-lap A mains. Craig Delansky in the black number 7 and Donnie Schatz in the 15 STP ride started on the front row. Down the backstretch, defending Silver Cup champion Tim Schaefer in the 83 would quickly make his move up to the 2nd spot. The caution flag would fly often during this event. The first one was for Sammy Swindell's stop machine on lap 2. On the restart, Delansky chooses the inside lane and gets a great jump on Schaefer and Schatz as they race through 1 and 2. Before a lap is completed, Brad Sweet and others bring out another caution. Once back under green, the king of the Outlaws, Steve Kinzer in the orange number 11, raced Stevie Smith for 6th place with David Gravel in close pursuit. The driver picking off the most positions was former Lernerville champion Danny Holtgraver, who started 19th in the D4. Here he races NASCAR champion Tony Stewart. On a lap 8 restart, Delansky chooses the outer lane this time, with Schaefer still in 2nd. Delansky narrowly avoids Schaefer as he pushes off of the turn. This allows Schatz to close on Schaefer's tail. There were numerous cautions during the race. On a lap 17 yellow, teams were allowed to refuel their cars. On the restart, Delansky chose the outer lane. Again, he jumped out to a big lead while the battle was for 2nd. Danny Holtgraver, who charged into the top 5 after starting 19th, hugs the bottom and challenges Gravel for the 3rd spot. Despite more cautions towards the end of the race, Delansky held on to the lead, with Schaefer not far behind. With the lead lap cars being inverted for the 2nd A main, there seemed to be a contest to see who would start up front for that race. At the back of the pack were drivers such as Tony Stewart in the 14 ride. In a 2-lap shootout, Holtgraver would overtake Schaefer for 2nd coming to the checkers, while Craig Delansky would pick up the victory.
Craig, on all the restarts, I noticed that you were switching lanes. Was that key to the win?
You know, I mean, it was a big factor for sure. Kept you thinking a lot. I mean, typically in a race you don't have that many restarts, but you know, I don't even know how many we had. I think it might have been 10, 12, but you know, I moved back and forth a little bit. I mean, I started on the bottom a fair amount of times and then went to the top, and Tim, you know, he gave us a good run each time, you know, but fortunately it worked out for us, and able to put all 30 laps in and come home with a win.
Well, with all those restarts and those cautions, does that break your momentum when you're dominating the event?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you sure would like to see more green flag laps, and typically you do, but man, in that first race, I mean, there was a lot going on, and you know, just a lot of caution flags, red flags, and.
So, Danny, you started off at 19th and you came in 2nd.
Yeah, we had a pretty good first feature. Went pretty well. Just was patient, rolled around the bottom the whole time, picked off a car every lap. You know, picked off one here and there, and worked out pretty good.
How does it feel to get that close to winning a World of Outlaws race?
I've never run in the top 10 in an Outlaw show in 6 years, so for the first one to be a 2nd, it's pretty cool. I mean, you know, if we had a restart or something, maybe might have had a shot at Delansky. He was pretty good, and Schaefer screwed up a little bit there the last lap and let me get by, but it's, you know, couldn't really ask for more. It's like a win for us.
Behind Delansky and Holtgraver, it was Tim Schaefer, Steve Kinzer, and David Gravel making up the rest of the top 5. The invert for the 2nd 30-lap A main put Greg Hodnett in the white 39 and Tony Stewart on the front row. Going through 1 and 2, Donnie Schatz in the 15 closes on Stewart, his car owner, going down the backstretch. Hodnett would lead the first 16 laps before Stewart was able to move into the top spot with this slide job coming off of turn 2. Down the backstretch, Stewart holds on to the position. On lap 23, Schatz would get by Hodnett for the runner-up spot going through 1 and 2, with Stewart just ahead of them. Schatz came very close to passing his teammate for the lead in the closing laps. Tim Schaefer, who finished 3rd in the first 30-lapper, would bring out the caution with 5 to go. Down the stretch, Tony Stewart would hold off Schatz to pick up his 2nd World of Outlaws feature win. Stewart finished 19th in the first A main. With his 16th place run in the 2nd A main, Craig Delansky is this year's Silver Cup champion.
How do you feel about the Twin 30s and the setup for the Silver Cup?
I think it's pretty. You know, it's a good setup. I mean, any of these formats, none of them are easy. You know, and the way they've done this, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't mind it being the old format where the first race you win the Silver Cup, $30,000 and take the cup home, but the trophy. But you know, the way they've done it, I think it's the right way to do it. You know, to have it come down between the 2 winners and who has the best finish, average finish in whatever race that they then win, or maybe they won them both. But I think it's a good format. It's challenging. It makes it hard. Doesn't matter if you're in the back, if you're in the middle of them races, or in the front. It's not easy.
Here's your top 5 in the 2nd A main. Tony Stewart takes the checkers over Donnie Schatz, Jason Sides, Lance DeWeese, and Greg Hodnett.
Craig Delansky must have felt pretty good beating 3-time NASCAR champion Tony Stewart. The World of Outlaws returns to Lernerville on September 22nd for the Commonwealth Clash.
Coming up next on Pit Pass, it's a device that could make the difference between life and death. Details after this.
When you think golf carts, think Jake's Custom Golf Carts. With over 300 stock and lifted carts at their shop, you'll find the cart you need or have Jake's build one to your specs. Custom airbrushing, lift kits, sport shifters, rear seats. You name it, with the expertise and craftsmanship people have come to expect from Jake's. Come see for yourself why Jake's is the nation's premier golf cart provider. Jake's Golf Carts, Route 522 McVeigh Town. Online at jakesgolfcarts.com.